Hi everyone, for this week's discussion I chose the article called Work Begins to Create Artificial Human DNA from Scratch, and it's by Pallab Ghosh from BBC News. So to answer the first question, is it newsworthy? I'd say yes, because it's a very interesting breakthrough which could potentially save lives, and I feel like it's just such a cool concept and something that I never thought could have been done or could be done. So for the second question, obviously the author is Pallab Ghosh, and he is a professional. He graduated from Imperial College in London and he studied physics, and he's now a science correspondent for BBC News with plenty of achievements. He's gotten multiple awards for his work and his interviews, and it's also important to note that BBC News is not owned by a private individual or company. Now for the intention, I would say it's just informative because he talks about the topic from both sides. So he includes the pros and he includes the cons of artificial human DNA. Now for the accuracy, I'd say his facts are accurate because he lists other sources and he even explains how everything works. Now obviously it is such, I feel like, a fancy topic that even if there was any content that isn't 100% true, I wouldn't know specifically because I'm not a scientist, so I don't know if any of this is even achievable. But again, like, to me it does sound like it's all truth, especially since we know his background as a journalist. Now, relating this to our lecture, he makes statements that can be verified and are true, like DNA is built from just 4 much smaller blocks referred to as A, G, C, and T, which are repeated over and over again in various combinations. So we know that that's a fact, right? Like, that's been explained. We all know that it's true. So he's not lying to us. Now for the content, I'd say it's the story it is kind of set in the context because at first, at the very beginning, it talks about the topic itself of artificial DNA, and then how a medical charity named the Wellcome Trust gave 10 million euros to start the project. So it hasn't even, happened. But he talks about that, and then he talks about DNA and what it actually is, why this is a good thing and why it could help people with diseases and cancer and helping people live longer. And then it moves on to the negative part of it of, if someone were to use it for bad intentions, how could you really stop them? But then in the end, he's like, this is why they still decided to go through with the project and with the funding. And now for the last question, would I trust this source? I would say yes, because the author has been covering scientific news stories for a long time, so I don't think that he would start lying now. And again, like, the project itself hasn't even happened, so he's just covering what is going to happen in the future.